picturesque day here in Jacksonville. Temperatures right around 70 degrees. Not a cloud in the sky. Better than 70,000. Most tickets they have sold to a game here since December 23rd, 2012, a game against the Patriots. There's Mike Tomlin, as upset as he has ever been after a home loss last Sunday, the last-second comeback victory by Tampa. And his counterpart, Gus Bradley, year 2 here as Jacksonville's head coach, just 4-16. Desperately trying to get this team back into the win column as they try to turn around the fortunes of this franchise. Josh Scobie, who has had some postseason moments against the Steelers, boots it away. Steelers run the toss, electing to receive. It is caught back in the end zone. Dree Archer, and the Steelers will have it from the 20 as Ben Roethlisberger comes onto the field. Roethlisberger turning 32 back in March. Last Sunday became the 12th quarterback in league history to amass 35,000 yards, passing 5th active quarterback to accomplish that feat.
But what a successful career Ben Roethlisberger has had. And you get the sense that he's chasing yet another Vince Lombardi trophy to put in those halls at the Pittsburgh Steelers facility. They have more of those trophies than any other team in the NFL.
Steelers, the only team in the NFL ranked offensively in the top 10 in total yards, rushing, and passing entering Week 5. First through 10, this is Le'Veon Bell, second-year runner out of Michigan State, taking him for 5 yards. Starters up front, Ramon Foster back in the fold, missed the last 2 games with an ankle injury. It had been Cody Wallace at that left guard position for Todd Haley and the Steelers. Backs and receivers, Heath Miller, career best 10 receptions last Sunday in the lost one for 85 yards, including a touchdown. Also surpassed Lynn Swann, a Hall of Famer, for 4th most receiving yards in franchise history. Roethlisberger from the gun, Brown in motion on 2nd and 5. Play action pass, little bubble screen, far side of your picture. It is caught. That is Darius Hayward-Bay with his first reception on the season and first catch as a Steelers. And Derek Marks headlines the front for this Jacksonville side. Mike Tomlin mentioned his name in our meeting with him on Friday. Had his sack of Phillip Rivers last weekend. Paul Posluszny, a Pro Bowler last season, 5th in the NFL in tackles. And Demetrius McCray, only his 2nd career start. In for Dwayne Gratz, the second-year corner, out with a concussion. This will be 3rd and 5 from the 25. It is thrown off the fingertips near side of Marcus Wheaton, and the Steelers will punt.
That's Marcus Wheaton, had an opportunity to make a play. Good throw by Ben Roethlisberger. It's just a little 7 route, and they don't disrupt the timing of the receiver. You see that? And Marcus Wheaton's got to make the catch, and they have themselves a first down. But they don't do anything to disrupt the timing and the release of the receivers, and so those opportunities to make those catches could exist all day.
Well, here's Brad Wing, who had that shanked punt late last Sunday, given the short field to the Bucs. We all know how that game ended. This one is fielded by Ace Sanders, who makes his season debut. Looks like the ball may have come loose late, but Jacksonville maintains possession as Sanders playing for the first time after being suspended the first 4 games for violating the NFL substance abuse policy. Here comes Blake Bortles, the 3rd overall pick. 22-year-old rookie. First career start last Sunday at San Diego. First home start today. Has to be feeling the jitters as he takes the field.
But what did he tell us? His hero was Brett Favre. He said, I play with fun. This is the kind of kid that can shake what big moments may rattle other quarterbacks. He has a tendency to shake it off.
Pass, Bortles hit as he throws back foot and nearly picked. Went right through the hands of William Gay. Making another start for the injured Ike Taylor, so Bortles dodges a bit of a bullet here. This one could have been disastrous.
It's Allen Hurns. Look, double move. But see, he stops. You got to win on that route. That's the key. You got to sell it a little bit better than you've got to win. And what young receivers like Hurns and Robinson have to really become accustomed to, you've got to fight for the ball to really help your quarterback make completions.
Former Michigan standout Denard Robinson into the game now on 2nd and 10. As they have it marked just outside the 32. Steelers coming, Bortles near side, completes at the 40. It's Allen Robinson, one of their other rookie wide receivers. 8 yards for Jacksonville. Starters, Austin Pastor, who is playing this season for the first time. Has been out since the preseason. Fractured right hand, underwent surgery, and is finally ready to go. Robinson just making the catch. 2 rookie starters at the wide receiver. Cecil Shorts out. Tried to return from the hamstring last Sunday in San Diego. Aggravated the injury, so he is down again. And also Marquise Lee, the first-year standout out of USC, injured and still on the shelf. Toby Gerhardt takes the carry, 3rd and short. Need to get to the 42 to move the chains. And it looks like they have enough. First down, Jacksonville. How about Dick LeBeau's defense, a unit that regressed considerably last season? Cameron Hayward anchors a front that is in transition. Hayward, 2nd sack of the season last Sunday, 9.5 for his career. Sean Spence, a starter, 2nd straight week. Ryan Shazier, the rookie linebacker, still out with the injured leg. And William Gay, as I mentioned, in for Taylor, who suffered that gruesome fractured forearm a couple of weeks ago in Carolina. 1st and 10, Bortles thrown across his body, finds the tight end, Clay Harbor, who made his season debut last Sunday, tied his career high with 8 catches, 13 yards, and a Jacksonville first down.
This is what Bortles does so well. Look at him, the boot, he rolls out, and then he finds the tight end, Clay Harbor. See, well, accurately thrown ball while on the move. This is really good on the back end, but Harbor does a really good job of hauling it in.
Harbor missing the first 3 games with a calf injury. 1st and 10, this is Gerhardt. But this chess match, Dick LeBeau against rookie quarterback like Blake Bortles, something that'll be very, very challenging for the 3rd overall pick.
Dick LeBeau and his defense, since he's been the coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers, have been dominant against rookie quarterbacks. Look, 19-2 against rookie quarterbacks. So if you're Blake Bortles, that's not a number you want to study during the week. You want to take the time to try to break down this 3-4 zone blitz defense. Can be very complicated, particularly on passing downs.
That was Robinson in motion. Wobbly pass is caught on a 2nd and 8 play. Couple of yards short of the first down, but it is caught. That's Denard Robinson, 5 yards. It'll set up a 3rd and short. Dick LeBeau, over 56 years in the NFL, a legendary coaching career.
Only losing twice, Spiro, to rookie quarterbacks. You wouldn't think of, say, guys like Troy Smith or Brandon Wheaton as the guys who have done the damage as rookies against Dick LeBeau's scheme. It is a complicated scheme. I've seen it fool some of the best, from Tom Brady to Peyton Manning, and it can really induce you to throw interceptions.
13th season as the Steelers defensive coordinator. 7th play to drive. Bortles has to improvise. Bobble the snap, trying to run for the first down. Takes out a tackler. It's Polamalu right at the first down marker. It'll depend on the spot, but how about the nerve of Bortles to take on the former Defensive Player of the Year head on for the first down?
He's been compared to Ben Roethlisberger. This play is reminiscent of what you saw from Big Ben early in his career. Look, picks it up, has the wherewithal and the speed and ability to get outside the linebacker, Terrence Garvin, and then it looks like he's going to be close to getting the first down, but no. They may go for it. Yeah, they may go for it on 4th down. Quarterback sneak. Oh, he saw something he didn't like, which was a big 300-pound nose tackle over his center.
That'll do it. Bortles and Jed Fish, their 2nd-year offensive coordinator, went for a 4th and short early in that game in San Diego last Sunday. And now they want to think about it as Jacksonville burns an early timeout. Still scoreless. And Jacksonville's first offensive drive. A lot of talk this week about Bortles and the comparisons to a young Ben Roethlisberger. And Ben admittedly says that he sees a lot of his young self in this Bortles kid.
And how about this? They have the same agent. And Ben said he worked out with Blake Bortles out in California during the offseason. He wishes Blake well. They've become very close. They do have a friendship. He said, but yeah, there are some similarities to the younger Ben Roethlisberger. Blake Bortles, though, he said his guy that he sort of idolize and favor his game towards is that of Brett Favre. We'll tell you more about that later.
4th and short. Bortles going to lunge for it. Needed to get just outside the 35-yard line. No signal yet. And now they do say Jacksonville first down. They got it.
So if you're Dick LeBeau and if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got to know this guy wants to be like Big Ben. I've seen Ben keep it in these kinds of moments. 4th and inches, a big body, 6'5", 230-pound quarterback. He can move the pile, gets behind his center, and is able to get the few inches needed for a first down.
Good-looking opening drive from the rookie. Ninth play. Perfectly balanced, running pass, play action. Bortles, 1st and 10's going to throw it through the hands of the intended target, Allen Hurns. And it'll be 2nd and 10. The other thing that Roethlisberger said he liked about Bortles is that he can make all the different types of throws. Sidearm, under duress, on the run, whatever you want.
And this one he might want to reconsider. This was almost intercepted by, take a look at it, where we couldn't see the linebacker in his way. It was Jason Whirls. See right here. See Whirls? Whirls nearly had his hand on that one, but Bortles able to throw it just over the fingertips.
Jacksonville has not been good on opening drive. In fact, have not scored a point. Chad Henne, of course, the starter to open the season. Replaced last Sunday at San Diego. Bortles now the new starter. First came on 2 weeks ago in the second half game here against the Colts as Robinson picks up minimal yardage on 2nd down.
Yeah, this is one where we've seen them get him out of the pocket and start to move Blake Bortles as the run game. Take a look at Robinson. They have a guy like Ace Sanders, who's a speed guy, who's could line up in the backfield. We're going to see him maybe even attempt to make some plays in this game. But with these receivers, the ball's got to come out of his hands quick and isolate one of the corners outside the numbers.
A long field goal from here. This is 3rd and 10. Bortles pocket collapses. He's going to run with it. He has the first down needed to get to the 25. He's got that and more. 12-yard run from the rookie moves the chains for Jacksonville.
Now, see, this is something that he brings to the table that a lot of quarterbacks don't have. We say quarterbacks who need playmakers. Some are playmakers, and this is making a play. You talk about having Ben Roethlisberger-type talent, and that's a prime example there.
1st and 10. This long extended drive continues. Here's Tubman. Bounces inside the 10. Penalty marker is down. We'll await the call. It's a 20-yard run from Tubman.
Holding. Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Terry McCauley is our official. Mentioned a 75. I don't believe Jacksonville has a 75. It's actually, I believe, against Jokel, 76. 2nd overall pick last season.
And watch him against number 55. That's going to be off the Moats. See right there? Pulled him right down to the ground. Moats would have been able to come off and make that play had Jokel not pulled him down to the ground on the holding call.
We had a chance to talk to Jokel, called the performance against Washington back in week 2 embarrassing. Gave up those 10 sacks, most in franchise history. As his holding penalty negates a 20-yard run from Todman to make it 1st and 20. Near side pass, still short of the original line of scrimmage. Ball caught by Allen Robinson, 2nd catch, 7 yards. Will set up a 2nd and long. There's Mike Tomlin. Says he put it all on him last Sunday. The penalty yardage, 2nd most penalized team, and for a guy who is as a stickler for the details as Tomlin, and that was awfully hard to watch.
And you get the sense he is going to get it fixed.
13th play of this opening drive for Jacksonville. Play action. Bortles going backwards. Sacked back at the 31. Loss of 5, and the Steelers fans up out of their seats.
Now take a look at it. They're just going to pour in from all angles. They collapse the pocket. You get the push in the face of the quarterback, and then they collapse the edges as well. Remember, this is an offensive line, Spiro, that came into today's game giving up a league-high 20 sacks in their first 4 games. And you got to know the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, they're counting on being able to get pressure on the rookie quarterback.
Stephon Tuitt, first career sack for the rookie out of Notre Dame. 3rd and 17. Bortles, little screen pass. It's caught. That's Todman again. Still well short of the first down. Picks up 5. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. As a very impressive game-opening drive from Bortles stalls, and they'll bring on the field goal unit.
Yeah, if not for the penalty on Luke Jokel, maybe they get even more out of it. And I'm sure Dick LeBeau, the veteran defensive coordinator, getting the feel for what Blake Bortles can really do. It's one thing to see it on tape, with a young quarterback who's mobile. It's another thing. Once you get in game, you get the sense for his quickness and overall awareness.
Here's Josh Scobie, 11th season. He is their all-time leading scorer. Had that game-winning field goal to beat the Steelers in the wild card game back in January of 08. This from 43 yards out, and it is good. Awfully impressive drive from Bortles, the 3rd overall pick. They salvage 3 and take the early lead on CBS. Today with NFL Now, watch a free preview of the ultimate video highlights experience on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Don't miss a big play from your fantasy team or favorite players. Start watching free today at NFL.com/now. That's a pretty good-looking drive for Blake Bortles. 15 plays, 43 yards, 43-yard field goal from Scobie to give Jacksonville our first points. This is Dree Archer, the rookie, fastest time in the NFL Combine. Across the field, crosses the 20, covers a lot of real estate. There is a late marker coming in behind the play after a good-looking return from Archer.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 21, 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Again, Steelers, keep in mind, second most penalized team in the NFL. That time it was Robert Golden, the backup safety. Flag. Roethlisberger back onto the field next.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. Toyota Care. Scheduled maintenance, no cost. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
No one travels as deep as the Steelers do. It is Steelers country, or at least it feels that way here in Jacksonville today. Better than 70,000 at Everbank Field. 1st and 10, Roethlisberger and company went 3 and out in their first drive. They're down 3. 5:10 left to play, late first quarter. Roethlisberger throwing far side. It's caught. That's the rookie Archer. Up the sideline, good pickup on first down of 7 to give him a 2nd and short. We mentioned the Steelers offense, Solly, only offense in the league in the top 10 in total yards, rushing, and passing. And really, it started with the turnaround over the last 9 games last season in which they really turned the corner.
Yeah, they spent the offseason adding more speed to the offense. You talked about Dree Archer. You obviously have Le'Veon Bell. Even LeGarrette Blount, he's a bigger body at running back, but boy, he can move. And Mike Tomlin talked about his surprising skill set for the offense.
Draw play on 2nd and short. This is Bell. The last couple of years, we really didn't have much of a running game. Bell obviously had his moments last season, but recently, if Roethlisberger wasn't throwing for a boatload of yards, they were in for a struggle as they're able to move the chains. But now with this two-headed running back tandem of Bell and Blount, they have been very dangerous.
Yeah, and as an offense, they're averaging, what, 5.3 yards per carry? That's best in the NFL. They're running it at a really good clip and adding excellent balance for Ben Roethlisberger.
1st and 10. This is Bell. Across the 25, getting close to the 30-yard line. They are so high, and this young man is running as well as any back in the NFL, 2nd in the league in rushing behind only the Cowboys' DeMarco Murray.
Oh, Ben is so high on Le'Veon Bell. He said he's the best running back in terms of being an all-around guy in the National Football League. Look at the rushing yards, but obviously the receiving yards, 192 and 570 yards from scrimmage in their first 4 games. 2nd best in the NFL. It's a guy, he can run it, he can catch it, and he's excellent in pass protection. Maybe that's why Ben loves him so much, right?
I think he's one of the better all-around backs in the league already in only his 2nd season. Bell looking for more on a 2nd and 6 play. Needed to get to about the 34-yard line. Tackle made by Chris Clemens, their 11th-year defensive end who came over from the world champion Seahawks in the offseason, a pickup of 2.
And, you know, Le'Veon Bell, we saw right there the patience. That's what Ben Roethlisberger talked about. He's the most patient back in the NFL. He'll look like he's just gliding. He's picking and trying to find his spot, and then it'll just explode through the hole and be at the 2nd level.
Decibel level rises, 3rd and 4. Dree Archer, the rookie out of Kent State, is the lone setback. Bubble screen far side, incomplete. Jacksonville arguing that it was a backwards pass. It is a live football, no signal. They do say incomplete pass. Trying to go quickly to Antonio Brown, and again, Jacksonville's defense that has been off to such an inauspicious start getting off the field.
Well, Allen Ball, 23, makes a great read. Look at him getting around the tight end, Heath Miller, who's an excellent blocker. Heath can't block him, and so he gets to the legs of Antonio Brown and keep Brown from making that catch. That's one of those easy plays that they want to get the ball in the hands of Antonio Brown. He breaks one tackle, and he can create a big play. Well defended by the Jaguars.
You see the shifting formation. This is Brad Wing, first year punter. Boots it away. A. Sanders back from his own 18. Sanders is going to play. Cutting back across the field. He's across the 20. Moving side to side. They return it only 4 yards. 53-yard punt from Wing. Bortles back onto the field. Jaguars up 3. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Thursday, your football week starts here with the Colts and the Texans. Another big-time matchup goes prime time Thursday night football on CBS and NFL Network. And we had a chance to check out J.J. Watt in person last Sunday in Houston. That long 80-yard pick six. What a matchup that'll be against Andrew Luck and Indianapolis.
And if you're the Texans, you can't get an Andrew Luck. You better have a J.J. Watt to stop an Andrew Luck. That'll be one well of a game.
It'll start week 6, Thursday night. So Blake Bortles back onto the field, the 22-year-old rookie from the gun on 1st and 10. They protect Bortles, bullet pass over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Hearns, coverage by Polamalu, and so far, at least on that first drive, Bortles doing a little bit of everything.
Oh, he showed you a lot of poise and all the promise they talk about, the completion to Clay Harbor, the tight end. Even when the play breaks down, he has the composure and poise to still make a play. We showed you his mobility, his ability to extend plays and create things and make things happen. That's the energy that Gus Brantley talked about that he brought to this football team. That's why everyone here in Jacksonville are so excited.
Bortles now 5 of 8. He's also run for 14 yards. 2nd and 10. This is Hearns, the rookie out of Miami. Fighting his way close to the 30, about a yard and a half short of that first down marker. Will set up a 3rd and short after a pickup of 9.
That's an excellent, good-looking play. We talked to the offense coordinator, Jed Fish. He talked about Bortles and the way that they want to bring him along. We asked everyone, said, what happened to the plan to redshirt this quarterback? But I got to tell you, he's surprised, even his offensive coordinator, the way that he went to work, his work ethic, his skill set, and the way that he developed. He came along rather quickly than what I think most had expected.
It's a 3rd and short play. Jacksonville is going to use its 2nd timeout. Bortles wanted to get the right play call here. Critical early juncture of the game. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today. And by Domino's. Visit Domino's.com.
Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by MetLife. Some of the beautiful shots high above downtown Jacksonville. 3rd and 1. Toby Gerhart, formation, set play action. Bortles going to throw it off the hands of the intended receiver again. That time it's Harbor at the early catch. So the Steelers defense getting off the field. Jacksonville will punt.
Yeah, under pressure. Jason Worrells gets in the face of the quarterback. Look, but it's a heater. This one is thrown hard, and you can see Clay Harbor should have made that catch. Pressure in the face of Bortles, as we said, from Jason Worrells, but if you're Clay Harbor, you've got to reward your quarterback when he stands in the pocket under pressure and deliver the pass.
The 30-year punter out of Cal. Here is Antonio Brown from his own 22. Brown cutting back, so dangerous across the field, across the 25, brought down short of the 30. 47-yard punt, a return of 6. 3-0 Jacksonville on CBS. Well, each team with 2 offensive possessions so far. 3-0 Jacksonville. Steelers have struggled at the start.
Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense have to be given a lot of credit for pitching the 3 and out on the Steelers' first 2 possessions.
Only 1 first down so far for Roethlisberger in this offense. 1st and 10, he's going to throw it near side short. Brown had to come back for it. Late marker coming in behind the play. That's Demetrius McCray, the second-year corner out of Appalachian State. Only his second career start. In for the absent Dwayne Gratz, who's down with a concussion.
There's no foul for offensive pass interference. 2nd down.
So they pick up the flag. That's Terry McCauley, referee. We take another look.
So originally they had called Antonio Brown. Let's see if there's some push right there, but he slips, he falls. They throw the flag, but then they pick it up. Remember, the receiver can't initiate contact with the defender beyond 5 yards down the field, just like the defensive back can't interfere with his ability to catch the ball.
Second and 10. Roethlisberger finally connecting with Crowd. He's got a 1st down and more across the 40. And brought down at the 43-yard line. Only the second 1st down for the Steelers, 14 yards through the air.
This is the same exact play that we just saw against Demetrius McCray. Look, and he'll come back. See, he keeps his hands off of McCray, still able to come back, keeps his footing while McCray slips, and Antonio Brown's able to make the catch. This guy has caught 5 or more passes in 20 consecutive games.
Brown 4th in the league in receiving yards. Here's Bell. He's going to bust it open inside Jacksonville territory and all the way down to the 30-yard line. We'll see where they mark it. Will Blackman, the backup corner, finally got to him, but not before Bell burns him for 28.
Well, they're patient. They're patient with the run game, and watch. It's going to be right in through here. And see, there's the block. The kick out right there by Pouncey, 53, turning the defender out, and Bell is patient. He hits the hole, slow to the hole, fast through it. Just love the way that he's playing like a real veteran in only his 2nd season.
Bell entered week 5, 2nd in the league in rushing, averaging better than 5 yards per rush. They barely get the final play up before the end of the quarter. 1st down and 10 play through the hands of Brown. And that'll take us to the end of the 1st quarter. So Pittsburgh threatening for the first time. We are through 1. 3-0 Jacksonville. Will return after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back with you in Jacksonville, Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcots, our entire crew. First time that the Steelers have threatened today inside Jacksonville territory as we start the 2nd. You see the current drive till this point. 2nd and 10 from just outside the 27. Roethlisberger play action, all ready to throw. Nowhere to go with it. He's going to run it. Now he's going to throw. Near side, it's caught. Brown coming back to him at the 5. It'll be 1st and goal. They pick up 22.
Well, I got to tell you, Ben Roethlisberger is one of the best in the league at helping his receivers uncover. Now watch Antonio Brown, initially covered right here by Allen Ball. But watch him come back. He's fighting. He understands Ben Roethlisberger is scrambling. So come back to your quarterback when the opportunity provides. He presents his chest to the quarterback, makes the completion. Just really good work between quarterback and receiver on the play.
Brown last Sunday setting an NFL record with his 20th consecutive game with at least 5+ receptions. Incredible streak. 1st and goal, quick bubble screen. It's Brown again. Minimal gain on 1st and goal. Buried him right after the catch. Brown, you can make the argument already 5 years into his career is the most dangerous receiver after the catch, Solomon, in the NFL.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. Look, they target him 39 times so far in the first 4 games, 6th most in the National Football League. Look at the receiving touchdowns. He can find the end zone for you, and that's why you want the ball in the hands of Antonio Brown.
Second and goal, Roethlisberger, end zone. Brown had it for a moment. It'll be 3rd and goal coming up. Coverage tight from McCray.
Well, at least when you come in and play against him, and Ben said, he said every week people are trying to take Antonio Brown away. He said, but we're going to keep feeding him the ball. And you've already seen, look, he nearly one-hands that one in. He's got to catch on this drive for 15 yards, another for 23 yards. putting them in this position where we find them.
8th play of the drive. What does Todd Haley have up his sleeve here? 3rd and goal. Roethlisberger. Pat me down, fakes the throw, set. Leslie wrapped him up first. Officials say he was down by contact before the football came loose. Loss of 2 and a field goal unit coming on for the Steelers.
You know, Leslie is a Pittsburgh guy. He's from the area. He knows about being. He didn't go for the pump fake. He went straight for the tackle. And anytime you play against Ben Roethlisberger, and watch 51 at the second level. Watch, soon as Ben takes off, see, he just goes right for him, never bites on the pump fake. He says, I got to tackle Ben as if he were a running back because he's one of the more difficult quarterbacks to get on the ground.
24-yard attempt from Sweezum. You're right about Leslie. From Hopewell Township, Beaver County, PA, comes up with the big stop against his hometown team. As Sweezum bangs it in on the 24-yard chip shot. We are even at 3. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
That's what.
Steelers drive 9 plays, 65 yards. Sweezum with the 24-yard field goal to tie this game up at 3. Early stages of the second. Largest home crowd that they've had here since December 23rd, a game against the Patriots 2012. Of course, the fact that the Steelers are here has a lot to do with that. But a lot of juice. Jacksonville fans trying to make themselves heard as well. This is Jordan Tottenham. Across the 15, lunges ahead close to the 20. And that Jacksonville secondary bending but holding to get off the field late.
Yeah, take a look at the coverage in the end zone. It's what we call umbrella coverage, where they got every single guy covered. See, watch this. Stop it right there. And then you can see, if you stop it there, see wherever Ben looks, every guy is covered. Everywhere he wants to go with the football, go ahead and roll it. He has nowhere. He's got to eat it, run it. It's just really good defense by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Penalty on the kick as both units come off the field. We await the call from Terry McAuley. That was, really the major area of concern. This is a Jacksonville defense that has given up 152 points since the second half of the Week 1 game in Philly. But the front, Solomon, has been so good. Second in the NFL in sacks. It's been the play of the secondary that has been so suspect, but they've been good so far in this first half.
If they can just put it together on the back end of that secondary, you could see this defense make a quantum leap in terms of what we saw in the first 4 games of the season. But they've given up a lot of big plays on the back end, and I think that's something that they're fighting with even throughout today's game. As we move into the second, third, and even the fourth quarter, how to eliminate giving up the explosive pass plays that Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown come in here expecting to make those kinds of plays.
We didn't get an official word from Terry McAuley, but it is an offside on the kicking team, so they will reboot it away with Sweezum. Todman back deep from his own goal line. Short kick. Todman's going to play it. Out past the 15, across the 20, cuts back, brought down at around the 22-yard line. And now another late marker coming in from the Pittsburgh sideline. Now officials trying to step between them. This is not something that Mike Tomlin wants to see. All the dead ball penalties that the Steelers were called for last Sunday, in a lot of ways costing them that game against the Bucs.
That's what Mike Tomlin talked about. The dead ball or pre and post snap penalties. See, the play was over and now a penalty flag is on the ground. And that's something that he was like, look, you can't be selfish and attack.
Looks like offsetting penalties on the play.
Personal foul, offsetting penalties. And see Gus Bradley's over there telling his guys the same thing that Mike Tomlin told his guys during the week.
Offside, kicking team number 41. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, receiving team number 52. The penalty's offset, re-kick.
No, re-kick it again. Antoine Blake, the man penalized from the Steelers. It was J.T. Thomas. Here are the Steelers, second most penalized team entering Week 5 in the NFL.
Second in penalty yards as well. And it really does derail the effort of your football team. If you go back and watch the game last week against Tampa, they're dominating the entire game. The offense looks stellar. They're making a lot of plays, and then the penalties start to come, and you can see Mike Tomlin is livid. He's livid. He knows that his team has to clean up those kinds of penalties and mistakes if they're indeed going to go ahead and compete for a division title and go far during the 2014 season.
Oh, you can access all of today's football action on the go. Download the award-winning CBS Sports app right now. Get instant scores, breaking news, video, and more, all on your phone. Everbank Field, sunny Jacksonville, temperatures in the low 70s. It's the Jaguars team 0-4, trying to end this long 7-game losing streak dating back to last season. Have not won a game since December the 5th, a home victory here against Houston. Steelers, the late home loss last Sunday. And an awfully lengthy delay. 2 re-kicks after multiple penalties on both sides. Terrible kick. Didn't look like Sweezum got all of his foot on it. It is fair caught and excellent field position for Bortles after it was caught by Ryan Davis. Let's get an update. JB and Boomer in New York.
Carolina turnovers helping the Bears. And so is Jay Cutler. Take a look at this. He's going to step up to his right. He's going to realize he has green grass in front of him. He takes it in for the touchdown. 10-yard scramble. Bears take a 7-point lead, 14-7 over the Panthers.
Spiro and Solomon.
Bears looking for a third straight road victory. First and 10 play on the ground. They give it to Storm Jackson. First career carry for the rookie. Young man who was a college teammate of Bortles at Central Florida, making his debut, and another penalty marker behind the play after a pickup of 9. Sally, not only are we getting a lot of markers, but we have had some lengthy delays between the time the flags have been thrown and the times we get the explanation.
Yeah.
Just seems like a lot of confusion.
Holding, offense number 70, penalties decline. Holding, offense number 88, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So it's against Luke Bowenko, the rookie center, and Alan Hearns, the first-year wide receiver.
Pick one, right? You know, the officials still are gathering in a conference. They're running to one another to talk, but remember, they all have headsets. They really don't need to run to one another and have a conference because the headsets allow them to communicate without having to be in close proximity to one another. It was supposed to speed up the time in which they could gather the information and proceed with the call.
First and 20 after the penalty. Bortles under center, now moves back from the gun. Bortles spun around. Not sure if there was a miscommunication, thrown on the run. It is caught near side by Hearns, and it is a catch. What a play by the rookie out of Miami. 20 yards and enough for the first down.
And another flag. I mean, if you're Blake Bortles, well, they're killing him. Does he get a run play? It comes back, and what a play here. It looks like it may come back. That was an incredible play. I wish the officials would tell us what's going on because we're left to guess. But we did see a penalty flag. They marked it off. But Bortles is making a play. Look at Bortles. This is Brett Favre like he thinks it's a run play. Okay, no one there. He spins around, still finds a receiver open, and throws it with great accuracy. And what could have been a first down, but the non-penalty flag brings it back.
Second time we've had a penalty and no explanation. We do know it was against Jacksonville, negating a 20-yard pass play. So first and 28, this is Robinson out of the backfield. First down is way out to the 37. No gain on the catch. It'll be second and long.
Sean Spence, linebacker for the Steelers, making an excellent tackle in the open field. If you're Blake Bortles, you know, this is the stuff that they said he has thick-skinned. Remember, he played for George O'Leary in college. And O'Leary, boy, he can really, coach you hard. And so they love the fact that Bortles is a guy that he can weather the storm of adversity and still look for the positive moments that he thinks will come later.
We didn't have a penalty on that last play. 2nd and 28, play action. Bortles gonna rip it down the field. His man is covered, and it's picked. Intercepted by Cortez Allen. Second interception of the young season for Allen.
Well, yeah, Allen had really good coverage. But, sometimes you expect the receivers to fight for the football. And so you've got to be able to help your quarterback if you're Robinson, but Allen makes the play for the Steelers.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. More live games than ever before with NFL Mobile. Macy's. And by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
Second pick of the season for Cortez Allen. Has taken over the mantle as their first #1 cornerback, even before the injury to Ike Taylor. So he gives Roethlisberger and company a short field. 3-3 game, early stages, second quarter. After all the penalties, this game coming to a standstill. 1st and 10, they line up at the 45. This is LeGarrette Blount, his first carry of the afternoon as we go back to the Bortles interception.
It's Allen Robinson, the wide receiver, working against Cortez Allen on the vertical route. And this is what Blake Bortles is seeing. He believes when his receiver is even, he's leaving. And so now you got to just fight for the ball. Make a play again for your quarterback. That's not a badly thrown ball, and it's not a bad decision. But he trusted the receiver, Robinson, to make a play, and he could not.
2nd and long. Here's Blount out of the backfield inside Jacksonville territory. 1st down and more. Lunges ahead, forced out of bounds at the 40. 1st down pass play, 19 yards on the run and catch, forced out by Jonathan Cyprien.
What did Mike Tomlin tell us about LeGarrette Blount? He's got sweet feet for a big man. I think we just saw it there. Big guy who can turn the corner. And Tomlin said that's what surprised him about Blount, his ability to make those kind of cuts and hit the edge, creating a positive play.
And Tomlin saying that they have a 1-2 punch at the running back position that they have not had in quite some time. Blount lines up in the slot here, top of your picture, alongside Antonio Brown. 1st and 10, Roethlisberger, pocket collapses, sacked. Jacksonville second in the league in sacks entering the afternoon. It was Avery Jones getting there first, the second-year man out of Georgia. 2nd sack of the day for the Jaguars.
Now we know this is a good defensive front for Jacksonville, but the Steelers' offensive line, they struggled to protect Ben Roethlisberger. He was sacked 5 times last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They come into today's game allowing 11 sacks, 3rd most in the NFL. So it's an interesting matchup. You take a look at Mike Munchak, the offensive line coach. He's made them better in terms of their run blocking, but still a lot left to be desired in terms of protecting the quarterback.
1st sack of the season for Jones. Archer onto the field. Little screen pass. Here comes the rookie. Back inside Jacksonville territory. Forced out by Posluszny. Steelers need to get to the 31 for the 1st down. They're well short. Clock stops at 8:37 left in the 2nd. There's Mike Tomlin. Sally, it has been infinitely harder for him to get this Steelers team back to the summit than it was early in his career. Of course, took the Steelers to the Super Bowl, youngest head coach to coach in and win a Super Bowl in only his 2nd year.
And then he's looking up at the clock. He's looking at that down and distance zero at 3rd and 15 and say, now I got to expect Ben and Antonio Brown to just make a play.
Steelers 0 for 3 on 3rd down today. Roethlisberger airs it out, middle of the field. Batted down by Posluszny, the Pennsylvania native. And the Steelers forced to punt.
And he was looking for Antonio Brown on the curl route. Take a look at 84 at the bottom of your screen. Watch him curl inside, but see, look at the linebacker. Just great sense of presence for the zone coverage by Paul Posluszny. Undercutting the route, nearly came away with an interception. And I think you've got to know defensively where Ben wants to go with the football in critical situations in the game.
Left-footed punter wing. But the Steelers don't get the bounce they were hoping for. Ace Sanders watches it. Bounce into the end zone. They'll have it at the 20, tied at 3 on CBS. TV's #1 comedy is Genius. Join Emmy winner Jim Parsons and the rest of the gang on a new Big Bang Theory, new night tomorrow, 8/7 Central, only CBS. It is as unique a fan experience as you'll have in the NFL. Over $60 million in renovations. Their owner here, Shahid Khan, put in $30 million plus of his own money. And they have sold the most seats to a home game today since December 23rd, 2012. A game here against the Patriots. Better than 70,000 on hand. And a lot of Steelers fans making the trek. Such an incredible national base that they have around the country. 1st and 10 Bortles. Under center, here's Gerhardt. First year as a frontline running back. Last 4 years as Adrian Peterson's backup in Minnesota. But it's been a struggle for him, averaging only about 2.6 yards a carry. That time goes for 3.
And he had served as the backup for years behind Adrian Peterson in Minnesota. He gets the free agent contract, expected to be the guy that fueled the rushing attack here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but off to a slow start in 2014.
Lost a fumble early in the game in San Diego last Sunday. 2nd and 7. Hearns trying to make a one-handed catch. I'm not sure he needed to do it. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 7.
You're talking about letting down your quarterback. All you have to do is catch it with 2 hands. Why would you try to one-hand this one? You make it harder than you need to, and then you get the catch and run. If just put 2 hands up and make a play for your quarterback. The reason why the coordinator would put a play in like that and call it is to get the quarterback off with some early completions and get some rhythm going in the passing game.
You see the 3 drops. I'm not sure there's been a feast or famine receiver to the level of Allen Hearns so far, 5 weeks into the season. 3rd and 7, Bortles near side. Bullet pass is caught. And right out of bounds is Ace Sanders, his first reception of the season. Back from the 4-game suspension, 6 yards, but short of the first down, they'll punt.
Now, Ace Sanders is a promising receiver in the fold. They're very young at the wide receiver position. They're very young on their offensive line, but that's what you're working with. To be young at quarterback and still have so many young components around you, it really makes it very tough to achieve a high level of performance on offense.
If you've just joined us, Jaguars again without Cecil Shorts, their #1 receiver. Re-aggravated a hamstring last Sunday. Here's Brown cutting back, makes a couple of guys miss across the 25, running the back short of the 30. After a 45-yard punt from Anger and a 4-yard return. All tied at 3 on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. And by Kelley Blue Book. Find out what you should pay for your next new car at KBB.com.
Oh, nice day to be on the boat. Jacksonville, temperatures right around 70. Some of the beautiful shots we've had high above downtown Jacksonville as the Steelers back onto the field here. 1st and 10 from the 30. Le'Veon Bell split out bottom of your picture on 1st and 10. Roethlisberger looking left and all over the middle. He's got the tight end Miller. Career day. Miller's still going. Now they say he was down by contact. 27 yards from Roethlisberger. Now the career high 10 receptions last Sunday in the loss.
Now, you know what? When we talk about rewarding your quarterback, that's what Heath Miller does. Watch this throw because Roethlisberger extends him. Look, he goes up and hauls that ball in. The defender thought he was going to intercept a pass that was overthrown, and he did it under duress. So reward your quarterback when he's going to make a play and get the ball in your vicinity. A veteran player like Heath Miller knows how to get that done.
93rd consecutive game with a catch for Heath Miller going back to November of 2008. Roethlisberger and the Steelers will use their first timeout. Miller, the 10th-year tight end, former first-round pick out of Virginia, finally fully recovered that ACL tear. Final game of the 2012 season. Returned week 3 of last year, and what a career it's been for the 10th-year man.
He's one of my favorite tight ends in the National Football League. There's nothing he can't do on a football field that you want tight ends to do. Setting the edge in the run game, he can get that done against some of the best linebackers. He can catch it. They even have tight end screens where they ask him to catch it and run it. And I know we've gone to all these basketball guys who can play tight end and play outside the numbers, who think they're wide receivers. But this guy is old school as they come, and as blue collar as they come, and he's the Steelers' all-time leader at the tight end position. That's saying a lot because they've had a lot of good ones.
And he's a Steeler kind of guy, isn't he?
He sure
Lunch
is.
pail kind of guy. A lot of 83 jerseys around the park today here in Jacksonville. Will Johnson, the fullback in motion. Play action on 1st and 10. Roethlisberger looking right, going to throw across his body. Caught at the 31-yard line. That is Johnson. 11-yard hook up through the air. And a Pittsburgh first down.
Now this is a fullback out in space. Will Johnson, now watch how he was working against a corner. Look at him come back to the ball, presents his chest to haul it in so the ball can't be pried away. Right now we're seeing receivers, fullbacks, tight ends reward their quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger. Can't say the same for the guys that Blake Bortles is throwing to for Jacksonville.
First reception of the season for Johnson. Draw play, here is Blunt, cutting back across the 30, Blunt still going. Gashes Jacksonville's defense to the 21-yard line. Telvin Smith, the rookie backer out of Florida State, got to him from the back, but not before Blunt picks up 9.
Yeah, and what did the coach say? Thomas said he has sweet feet like this. The big guy at 6 feet, 240 pounds, moving like that. Boy, he adds a whole nother dimension. Look at him from behind. Starts to cut, and then he's able to just break out and find daylight.
Look at the average from Blunt on the season now. 7.5 yards per rush. 2nd and 1, maybe a chance to take a shot. Marcus whistle the play dead.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Look at Bell and Blunt. Look at the numbers. Both are averaging over 5 yards per carry, 7.5, as you mentioned, by Blunt. But both guys had 100 yards rushing week 3 against a really good Carolina Panthers defense. And Mike Tomlin said, we don't know what that means anymore. After last week's loss to Tampa, he didn't want to give them any credit. He wants more of it.
Hard to believe Blunt entered the league undrafted back in 2010 with Tennessee. Blunt stays on the field. Couple of hard-fought yardage up the gut. Playing with his 4th NFL team last season with the Patriots. Mentioned Tennessee, also some years with Tampa Bay. That time 4 yards as we come up on 4 minutes.
Or no huddle. This is where Ben is usually at his best.
3rd and 2. Blunt has the first down and more. Lunges ahead, got close to the 17-yard line. 6 yards for Blunt. 1st and 10 for the Steelers.
And he's got the perfect name for a Pittsburgh Steeler at 240 pounds as a running back. He's a blunt force against this defense. Look at the sweet feet and the vision to find the hole once it creates an opening. I think it's just a really good job. This is a kid we talked about him. Drafted by the Tennessee Titans. They tried to slip him on the developmental squad, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers picked him up.
Waiting in motion. This is 1st and 10. Play action Roethlisberger. Short little screen pass. That's Blunt again. Tomlin said Le'Veon Bell may be 1A, but Blunt is 1B. They don't look at him as the backup.
That's right.
This is a 2-pronged attack, and another reason why they were so confident and positive heading into the season.
Well, and if Derek Marks doesn't tackle him from behind, he's probably going to score a touchdown. Todd Haley used that series to give Blunt a lot of opportunities, not only to run it, but on that play to catch it coming out of the backfield. So you love the way they integrate both Bell and Blunt into the offense.
Second play of the drive, 2nd and 8. This is Bell out of the backfield, makes the first guy miss. Bell so dangerous, getting to the edge. 1st down and more to the edge. 9 yards to give him a 1st and goal.
And Josh Evans is pretty good in the open field. He whiffs on Le'Veon Bell. And Bell, he lost 20 pounds, Spiro, during the offseason. And Coach Tomlin talked about the fact that he has become aware of how important conditioning is to play running back in the National Football League. That move he just put on Josh Evans, I think, is a really good example of it.
Final play before the 2-minute warning. 7 different Steelers have caught a pass. First and goal, Roethlisberger makes the first guy miss, throwing end zone, incomplete. Excellent recovery by McCray to negate the touchdown pass to Antonio Brown.
Demetrius McCray in the starting lineup today. Look at him. Plasters against Antonio Brown. Both guys are pushing, using hands right there. But watch him recover. See, once you find the ball, then just break for the intercept point. And he's able to knock it down. Ben gave his talented receiver Brown a chance to make a play, but McCray was up to the challenge.
I wonder if that ball got out a hair quicker, if that wouldn't have been a touchdown. You see Roethlisberger's numbers.
Last time in this situation, Ben kept it himself and ran it.
Second and goal. Pump fake, throws over the middle. It's Miller. Short of the end zone, but awfully close. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Miller's second reception, 33 yards. That time picks up 6. Third and goal. When we come back, tied at 3, you're watching the NFL on CBS. 10th play of the Pittsburgh drive. A lot of yardage charge out by Bell and Blunt. Drive started at their own 30. Third and goal. Play action. Roethlisberger throwing end zone. Touchdown. Michael Palmer, the backup tight end from Clemson, and the Steelers take their first lead.
That was good play fake. Good design of the play by their coordinator, Todd Haley, to be able to get the tight end Palmer open in front of Ben as he was rolling out. He needed someone to throw the ball to. This is what we call a naked rollout bootleg. He was very fortunate to have Palmer to complete the touchdown.
For Palmer, his first reception of the season. Picked off waivers from Seattle back in 2013. What a drive for the Steelers. Sweezum's point after is good.
Oh, and you're going to see Palmer lined up right here. Ben's going to fake and then roll back the other way. See how they slip Palmer out in front of him? See, if he doesn't throw the ball to him, he's going to have to throw it away because the defenders were closing in quickly on Ben Roethlisberger. See, he's naked. There was no protection on that rollout. Palmer was the intended receiver. He was open for a mere second, and Ben was able to find him.
Drive that began at their own 30, goes 70 yards, 10 plays. Roethlisberger 6 of 7 passing on the drive to give the Steelers a 7-point lead. Sally, we have been impressed with a Jacksonville defense that in a lot of ways has been historically bad over the first 4+ weeks. But Roethlisberger and company finally able to march down the field and get in for 6.
And how were they able to do it? They were able to do it with their running backs. Le'Veon Bell, LeGarrette Blount being very patient. I don't think the protection was holding up as good for Ben, so they went to the run game. This offensive line is suited in Pittsburgh to run the football, not as much in terms of their protection. They got the run game going, finding ways to get the ball in the hands of both guys, whether they were running it or catching it quickly coming out of the backfield, and put up nice yards on the drive and provided Ben with an ability to go down the field.
Big play of the drive was the 27-yard pass play. Roethlisberger to Heath Miller. And then Palmer with the touchdown reception. Todman from his own end zone, streaking up the sideline across the 20, close to the 25. As Bortles and company back onto the field. Coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report will send you to New York. JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cower with all the latest scores and highlights. We'll also get you a preview of Thursday Night Football coming up on CBS and NFL Network. The Verizon Halftime Report is next. Steelers trying to avoid losing to a winless team for the second straight Sunday. Jacksonville, meantime, looking for their first win since last December. Minute 47 left in the half. One timeout left for Jacksonville. That pass is caught by Robinson. One of the things you see from a rookie quarterback, and you mentioned this earlier, guys that use timeouts early in a half. Now, suddenly Bortles has just one when he really needs it.
Yeah, they had to burn 2 timeouts early in the half, and that's the product of learning. The developmental process for a young quarterback, things aren't quite right. Let me call a timeout to prevent a disastrous play.
Bortles slings it near side again to Robinson. making the start again for the absent Shorts. 13 yards, tackled by Mitchell. 1st and 10.
And now they want to try to conserve and keep that timeout. So throw the ball, get over the middle of the field, spike it if you have to, but now with about a minute to go, continue to take your shots down the middle of the field.
Bortles pump fake and throwing sideline, has his man. Todman upended inside Steelers territory. 2nd straight 1st down pass play.
Now watch the pump fake by Blake Bortles. He pump fakes it. That's how he's able to get William Gay 22 to sit down on the play. That was a complete wonderful play by Blake Bortles. He pump fake William Gay, number 22. Watch the pump fake here. Boom, that's what number 22 William Gay was seeing when he sat down on the play. It allowed Todman to get to the second level, 18 yards on the catch and run. Good play by Blake Bortles.
So the rookie quarterback in his first home start. You see the target line from Scobie. Needs to get to the 37, his career-long 59 yards 4 years ago against the Colts.
Hey, what's up?
Well, they say Bortles is a gamer. Not the great practice player, but these are the moments that he's been so good at, certainly in his college career. We'll see what he has up his sleeve here, throwing an incomplete intended for Robinson again. Cortez Allen, who had the interception earlier, was there. And Bortles now 11 of 18 passing.
And here's what I like. Watch him climb the pocket. So you don't want to drift backwards because now your chances of getting sacked and losing even more yards on the play, it increases. You climb the pocket, at least if they tackle you, it won't be as big of a loss on the sack that if you try to drift backwards out of the pocket.
Jacksonville out of timeouts, 47 seconds left. 2nd and 10. Bortles throwing near side. It's an over-the-shoulder catch by Hearns. Their other rookie starting wide receiver, only 3 yards on the hookup, but they do stop the clock.
Yeah, and guess what? He gets the ball out of his hands as Dick LeBeau was bringing that A-gap pressure on Blake Bortles. He got the ball out just as he was hit. And he's starting to get tagged a little bit, but the kid's hanging in there and is making some plays.
Solly, what have you seen from Bortles so far in the half?
Well, I've seen a kid who's been really poised, and providing he gets better talent around him, more consistent in terms of protection and the receivers outside. This kid's got a tremendous upside. We're seeing some of that today.
Bortles on 3rd and 6. It's caught. 1st down pass play to Robinson again. And now well within field goal range for Scobie. Hoping for 6, however. They're out of timeouts.
He's going to spike it. And there goes Troy Polamalu going over the top. And he talks about that in our media. He expects it. And now there's probably going to be a penalty on Polamalu to put him even closer.
Looked like Jason Worrells got in a couple of shoves at the end of this play. 93 for the Steelers.
Defense number 43. 5-yard penalty.
That's that patented Superman leap from Polamalu.
And what,
another.
You know they're going to spike it. What are you going to accomplish on that play? You're not going to blow it up. You're not going to create a fumble. It's just going to put them closer. I mean, I don't know what the upside. I've seen Troy make that play plenty of time when the quarterback's going to go hand it off. But it was clear he was going to spike it on that throw.
Unnecessary gamble.
Yeah, and then you put them closer to the end zone, and those are the kind of plays we talked about. Veteran players needing to just have a better sense of awareness of what they can and cannot get away with.
Todman in the slot, bottom of the screen, 1st and 5. Bortles throwing end zone, too high for Hearns, incomplete. Clock does stop. 22 seconds left. William Gay was there.
And you have another shot. Now remember, they don't have any timeout. So with 22 seconds, it's got to be shots like these into the end zone, where if your guy catches it, it's for a touchdown or it's an incompletion to stop the clock.
Another reminder, the Verizon Halftime Report is next. We'll send you to New York, get you the scores and highlights as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football, CBS NFL Network coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report next. Jaguars need to get just outside the 7, 2nd and 5. Bortles, bullet pass. What a defensive play. Incomplete. It was Cortez Allen. Crowd wanted a penalty. They don't get one.
Well, he's working against Allen Hearns. Let's see if he hooks Allen around the waist. And he does. And he turns him. Now, see, typically that's pass interference. You're not allowed to grab them or turn the receiver, okay? And you're able to touch them, but not touch them, grab them, and then turn their body away from the ball as it's coming in.
All 8 plays on the drive have been pass plays. Allen, the interception earlier, already 3 passes defensed. Biggest play of the half for Bortles and the Jaguars, 3rd and 5, down 7.
Well, that game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's tough. He's playing with a rookie center. You got a rookie quarterback. You have 7 rookies who are primary players on the offensive side of the ball. You're going to get some of these situations, which is why he burned timeouts earlier in the first half.
Gus Bradley talked about race to maturity. Tough to do it with all the youth. Here's Bortles, who went toe-to-toe with Phillip Rivers in his first career start last Sunday. Today, across the field with Ben Roethlisberger.
I got to reset the clock to 22 seconds. That's where we were, right?
Will be 3rd and 10. Jacksonville again out of timeouts. 18 seconds left. Jaguars took a 3-0 lead. 10 straight points from the Steelers to make it a 7-point game. Bortles pump fakes to the throw end zone. Not even close. Intended for Allen Robinson. Well covered by Cortez Allen, who has been the Steelers' best defensive player by far in this first half.
Yeah, and I think Blake was thinking, you know what, I got to put it where only my guy can get it. But he could have thrown a better pass there that would have allowed Robinson to make a catch in the end zone. He didn't want to risk that one getting picked off.
Scobie hit from 43 earlier. This one from 35 yards out to cut it to 4. Scobie's kick on target and perfect. So Bortles and company salvaging 3 to get to within 4. Bortles takes the offense 58 yards down the field. Scobie's 35-yard field goal. So 10-6, Steelers in front. 9 seconds left, maybe a chance for one shot. Archer's going to take a knee and give it to his offense and Roethlisberger from the 20. 2 timeouts left for the Steelers. We'll see what Todd Haley elects to do here. As Roethlisberger, the 11th year NFL vet, 2-time Super Bowl winning champion quarterback, going head to head with the young man taken 3rd overall in the NFL draft, Blake Bortles.
A lot of similarities drawn between the two, and Bortles said that, you know, he sort of favored Brett Favre. He wants to play having fun, wants things to be able to roll off his back. If there's a mistake or an error, and just keep slinging it. He wants to be that type of gunslinger.
Steelers will not take the shot. Will look to take it into the locker room. Up 4 as Blunt picks up a couple on first down. It is getting feisty down there. As we reach halftime in Jacksonville, the score: Steelers 10, Jaguars 6. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after these messages and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. AFC battle as we get ready for the start of the 3rd quarter. 10-6 Steelers in front of the Jaguars as the NFL on CBS continues. From Jacksonville, Spiro Dedes and Solomon Wilcots with you. We talked about this intriguing matchup. Ben Roethlisberger, 2-time Super Bowl winning champ, against Blake Bortles, the 3rd overall pick. And Bortles has had some chances. They protected well, and he's taken some shots.
Yeah, he's hanging in there, and he did take a shot down the field, was intercepted. It really essentially turned out to be a punt. But both quarterbacks are playing really well. I think what we need to look forward to in the second half is the fact that This Jacksonville Jaguars defense, they've given up a lot of big plays in the pass game. They did not allow Ben those opportunities in the first half, so they got to continue to do a good job. And then if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you've got to do a better job of pressuring or hurrying Blake Bortles to commit some kind of mistake or error. He's developed, I think, a really good sense of poise and feel for the game, and I've really been impressed with the way he's carried himself against Dick LeBeau's defense so far in the game.
Well, here are the first half numbers, very similar. Obviously, the touchdown interception ratio has been the difference up till this point. Bortles also had that nifty run for the first down early in the game.
Yeah, he really did, and I love the fact that he's completing a high percentage of his passes. 13 completions, just the same number that Ben Roethlisberger has in this game. The offensive line has done a better job of protecting him. Only been sacked once, but his movement and ability to extend plays, I think, has really helped the offensive line and the overall protection of Blake Bortles.
First half stats. Again, rushing yards, such a struggle for Jacksonville as they try to help their young quarterback. Toby Gerhart just has not had much of an impact over the first 4+ games of the season. This is Tottenham streaking up the sideline, takes a wallop out of bounds, as does one of the Steelers' staff members on that far side of the field. Looks like everyone's okay. Vince Williams, the linebacker, with a hard hit, and boy, the physical play and pushing after the whistle.
That's Dr. Bradley.
You're right.
That's the team doctor over there. Here's a guy, he's got good feet. He did a good job getting his feet up, by the way, but he's been on that Steelers sideline for years, and he knows that you can never be too far away from the action.
Doc is okay, thankfully. First and 10, they mark it just inside the 24-yard line. Draw play. This was Denard Robinson, such a dangerous player at Michigan as that dual-threat quarterback. Still transitioning Solomon to the running back position. Lawrence Timmons on the tackle. No gain on first down.
That was a great play by Lawrence Timmons. He was knocked on the ground, and he gets up off the ground and still is able to get the tackle. He's played really well at the linebacker position, but they're searching for guys who can really help continue that succession of great play at the linebacker position for Pittsburgh.
Timmons, their leading tackler. Bortles sensing the blitz, pulls back. Second and 10. Throws near side, it's caught. That's Mike Brown, the second-year wideout out of Liberty. Good pickup on second down as we look ahead to our Wisdom of Solomon for Week 5.
As we said, over the last 20 years, they've had a great succession of linebackers, even that of the great Greg Lloyd from the 80s to the 90s, and then Kevin Green, 8th on the team all-time list for sacks, and Jason Gilden became the team's all-time sack leader with 77. Even Joey Porter, he's a coach right now, an assistant, but he was a great player in terms of that long succession of guys at the linebacker position.
First down run after the 11-yard catch by Mike Brown. That is Robinson again, 6 yards on a good-looking drive to start the third quarter.
Yeah, and James Harrison, he's the last of great lineage of linebackers spanning over 20 years of excellence. Third all-time or second in terms of all-time on the Steelers sack list. He comes out of retirement.
Bortles fumbled the snap. Fortunate to retain possession as they lose 6 yards. And this is the mark of a young team. Again, couple of rookies, that center quarterback exchange, still getting comfortable with each other.
And the coaches for Jacksonville said there's going to be some moments in games where he's going to be seeing things for the very first time. There's going to be some moments where it gets outside of him. He said, but he won't become unrattled. They really believe in the mettle that Blake Bortles brings to the table. That's why they drafted him so high. They didn't intend to play him so early, but they think he can handle it.
Third and 10, Bortles over the middle. It's Harbor on the reception, well short of the first down marker. There are 24 teams in the NFL that start one or fewer rookies offensively. They start 5 of them. It's an incredibly high number.
Yeah, he was the guy, that turns out the plan to redshirt Blake Bortles was part of a larger plan to ease the pressure and lower the expectations so that he can grow and develop more naturally.
Anchor on to punt. Antonio Brown, a home run hitter from his own 15, going backwards after the point of attack. 50 51-yard punt. Penalty marker thrown.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 21. 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
Fifth penalty against the Steelers. Roethlisberger pinned back to start the third quarter. First offensive drive for Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Second half, up 4. With just over 3 minutes gone by in the second half. Man in motion is Lance Moore. Roethlisberger from his own end zone on 1st and 10 just throws it to the turf. Well, this was the touchdown drive for Roethlisberger late in the first half after they had struggled, Solomon, early in the game.
Yeah, you love the way offensive coordinator Todd Haley got the running backs involved. But Garrett Blunt, Le'Veon Bell making them miss, getting it to the second level, just integrating both the run and the pass and get it to running backs and tight ends. They are going to get the touchdown. 10 plays, 70 yards as they go and get the score. But the use of the running backs by Todd Haley seen there. They're weapons now in this offense.
Steelers enter the day 5th in the league in rushing. On the back of Bell and Blunt. Here's Bell, 2nd and 10. Across the line of scrimmage. Gets to around the 11. And we'll see what Haley dials up here on 3rd and long. He said that he's given Ben Roethlisberger a lot more ownership of the offense, and boy, has that worked. Guy who's won this franchise a couple of Super Bowls.
I think he's shown, with 2 Super Bowls already in the trophy case, that he's a guy that can be trusted. He puts the homework in. He's understanding what he can do within the offense. And in no huddle, particularly in this type of formation, he's really at his best.
Third and 9. Roethlisberger under duress over the middle. First down and more. Lance Moore, whom they signed in the offseason. They waited a long time for him to become involved in the offense, and now a penalty marker in the secondary.
That's right.
Offense number 16. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Wow. Those are the silly celebration type penalties that really hurt them last week.
For Moore, only his 2nd reception of the season.
There it is right there. Now watch when he gets up. He'll spike the ball. And you got to be able to manage your passion for the game where you can't hurt your football team.
26-yard pass play before the penalty. 1st and 15. They mark it just outside the 31. Roethlisberger throwing up the seam. It's caught just shy of the 50. That's Marcus Wheaton, the 2nd-year receiver. And look at the reaction from Mike Tomlin after that last penalty, Solomon, on Moore.
Yeah, he said, see, this is what we talked about all week. He has given it to Lance Moore. It was like there really are no excuses or explanation for that kind of play. Putting yourself and your emotions before your football team.
Moore was hurt, looked strong in camp initially, suffered that groin injury, missed the last preseason game, first 2 regular season games. Desperately need him to have more of an impact. Bell on first down inside Jacksonville territory, crosses the 45 down to the 43. 8 yards for Bell. We go to New York, JB and Boomer.
Escapability is a plus. Well, here comes J.J. Watt. Basically unblocked right around the corner. Tony Romo senses him, gets out of that potential sack. Down the field, 43 yards to Terrence Williams. Houston opened the second half with a touchdown. Dallas now takes the 3-point lead, 10-7.
You think the warning light went out when Romo saw him coming? Back to Spiro and Solomon.
That's something you rarely see. J.J. Watt with it. 2nd and short play. They keep it on the ground to Bell. As we come up on 9 minutes to play, third quarter, first offensive possession of the second half for Roethlisberger and the Steelers.
Mike Tomlin told us we were going to see more of Lance Moore. Less is more. And he is a guy that's really good in the slot, but Moore, if he wants to play and get considerably more snaps, he's going to have to do a better job of controlling his enthusiasm.
Well, the hope was that Moore would fill some of the void left by Emmanuel Sanders and Jericho Cotchery, who both left in the offseason. 3rd and short. Wheaton in motion. Play action, Roethlisberger, screen pass to Blunt, first down. Such a wide load to deal with. Jonathan Cyprien, the stud safety, second-year guy out of Florida International. 2-yard pass play. They move the chains.
Well, take a look at Blunt. He's going to come out of the backfield real quick here on the rollout. He's too big to just keep him from falling forward for that first down at 240 pounds. And look at the pass distribution by position. Wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. Ben's getting everyone involved.
8th play of the drive, 1st and 10. They mark it at the 40. It's caught. Brown at the 24. First down for the Steelers. 17 yards. Allen Ball on a tackle, but it's coming back.
10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, we've talked about this. Ben is going to be upset about it. And the head coach, remember Tomlin said there's 2 types of penalties. There's those dead ball penalties and then the in-game ones. He'd rather do it out in-game penalties like the one you saw right there that takes the big play away. But the dead ball ones is the ones that he said we really can't tolerate. And he's having to deal with penalties of both kinds.
Sally watched his press conference after that game Sunday. I mean, he was irate. Looked offended in a lot of ways. Guy who is such a stickler for detail, such a discipline-oriented guy. Le'Veon Bell takes a crunching hit from Paul Posluszny. Grew up in Hopewell Township, Beaver County, Pennsylvania, against his hometown team today.
And remember, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're trying to avoid losing to a winless team for 2 consecutive weeks. Lost to Tampa last week and now against the 0-4 Jacksonville Jaguars. And Mike Tomlin is concerned because right now they're playing against 2 teams, the Jaguars, and they're playing also against themselves.
A lot of pre-snap movement. Roethlisberger from the gun. This is 2nd and 15. Stepping up in the pocket. Took a little bit of contact on the throw. It was Miller, the intended receiver. Incomplete.
Well, the pressure on Ben was amazing. Chris Clemens and Andre Branch. Watch the 2 ends. They'll just close and collapse the pocket from the edge, forcing him to step up, but then they're coming. So he's forced to throw that ball. He didn't throw it as well as he wanted. That's why it fell to the ground for an incompleted pass.
Steelers started the day 0 for 4 on 3rd down. They've converted their last 4. This is 3rd and 15. Roethlisberger, tough pass. It is incomplete. Had to thread the needle to find Brown. Well covered on the sideline, and the Steelers will send out the punt team.
Oh, there's like 3 defenders over there. Ben just threads this one, but they run out of real estate. And look at the underneath defender. There's one coming over the top. Look at that small window to get that ball into. And then, of course, they have to go out of bounds. They run out of real estate there. That ball is caught out of bounds, Spiro.
Sally, we started the day talking about all these struggles for Jacksonville secondary. How impressed have you been with that group?
Much better. Much improved. This is the best they've played all season.
Fair cut. That's Ace Sanders. As Bortles back onto the field, there is a penalty marker. No surprise there. That's been the kind of day that we've had so far. 10-6 your score. Steelers in front. Each team has had a possession here in the 3rd quarter. 7 penalties against Pittsburgh, 4 against Jacksonville.
There's no foul for holding on the play. Timeout.
Okay. Terry McCauley, our referee. 6:33 to play. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by the all-new 2015 Honda Fit. The new Fit is a great fit for you.
Staying cool in the swimming pool here in Jacksonville, Everbank Stadium. Unique fan experience here, 70,000 plus, largest crowd that they've had here since December of 2012. This is Storm Johnson, the rookie running back, gashes the Pittsburgh defense, getting to the edge, 20 yards And a Jacksonville first down.
That was just a well-conceived play. Take a look at it. Look, they pull everyone, then look, he sneaks right underneath. And no one even could find Storm Johnson on that play. It was well designed.
First action of his young NFL career, the rookie out of Central Florida. And a college teammate there of Bortles. And we talked about the struggles of Toby Gerhart, Denard Robinson, Solomon still getting comfortable at the running back. There's a chance and an opportunity for this kid who they have been eager to see. A couple of weeks of good practice, missed the first 3 games with an ankle as he kind of gingerly limps off the field.
If you're a 7th-round pick and you're out of Central Michigan, you played with the quarterback in college, this is a good situation for you because they need someone to jumpstart the run game. We talked about the struggles of Toby Gerhart, and Storm Johnson's going to have a shot.
Gerhart back on the field, I-formation set, 2nd and 4. Bortles play action. Throws off his back foot. Gerhart inside Steelers territory, taking on tacklers at the 40, 20 yards through the air. And Bortles has him on the run. Arthur Moats on the tackle.
Jed Fish, the offensive coordinator, now getting his running backs involved. We saw Storm Johnson now just on a screen play to Toby Gerhart. He's got linemen pulling out in front of him, creating a convoy of blockers to get beyond that first down marker. And he does a good job of holding it high and tight, something we saw them work on Friday in practice.
Gerhart, the former All-American at Stanford under Jim Harbaugh. From one high-intensity coach to another, and now for Gus Bradley here in Jacksonville. First and 10 from the Pittsburgh 40. Bortles pump fakes, throws near side, penalty marker thrown. It's caught by Brown. Can't cover much better than Cortez Allen did that time. It's a 15-yard pass play.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 38. Penalties decline, first down.
Yeah, you're right. They can't cover any better than that, any tighter without holding. See right there? He just grabs Thomas. And this is now the 8th penalty on the day for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It just continues to mount, much to the dismay of their head coach, Mike Tomlin.
It quickly raced. Didn't look like the Steelers were set. So heading play by the rookie Bortles completes to Harbor. And we saw this a couple of times last week. Bortles getting the offense to respond, Solomon, after scoring drives by San Diego.
And you don't expect that from a rookie in just his 2nd NFL start, to have the wherewithal for managing the game and trying to catch the defense off balance to get, a sneaky play in there when the defense is not ready. Pointing out the mic, middle linebacker.
This is Gerhart, 2nd and 5. Crosses the 20. Tackle made by Moats. Getting extra playing time with Ryan Shazier, their rookie linebacker, out for a 2nd straight week.
Now, when you see Blake Bortles there sort of pointing guys out and he's talking to his offensive line, what is he doing there? He's identifying the middle linebacker, in this case 51, Sean Spence. Then they're setting the protection to the middle linebacker. So they're getting their head count, figuring out who's going to block who. See, he's pointing them out, and they're always aware of where number 43 is, Troy Polamalu.
Jaguars 3 of 9 on 3rd down. Bortles back shoulder throw, incomplete, intended for Allen Robinson. And they have really got at Cortez Allen. Bortles, that's what they like about him, so fearless. Incomplete field goal unit out of the field.
Now this one could be thrown maybe a little bit lower. Put it on the receiver on that. It's a back shoulder throw, but you don't want it that high. So Bortles has to deal with that one. It's not as accurate on that throw as he would like to be.
First incomplete pass on the drive from Bortles, 5 for 6. Scobie from 36 has hit 2 so far. This one a chip shot, and good. So Jacksonville still trying to get into the end zone. 3 Scobie field goals, all they have to show for it, but they are within 1 on CBS. Tomorrow, see why critics are calling the new hit drama Scorpion brainy fun. Scorpion tomorrow at 9/8 Central after The Big Bang Theory. Only CBS. 3rd Josh Scobie field goal, 36 yards out. Blake Bortles and the offense 8 plays, 68 yards. This is a 1-point football game, 3:16 to play, 3rd quarter from Jacksonville. Spiro Dita, Solomon Wilcox on the entire CBS crew. This is Drew Archer The rookie fighting across the field. Excellent coverage by the Jaguars as Archer barely able to get to the 10. Roethlisberger back onto the field next.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by all the Old Spice products, which you should use all over your body. And by Universal Pictures' Dracula Untold, in theaters and IMAX Friday.
Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by our friends at MetLife. Beautiful sunshiny afternoon in Jacksonville. Reminder, next week a college football doubleheader on CBS. It starts at noon. 13th ranked Georgia takes on number 23 Missouri, and then second ranked Auburn traveling to number 3 Mississippi State. Well, some called it the craziest day in college football yesterday. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, both 5-0 for the first time ever.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. The coverage was great. Just college football. It's just wonderful to watch, and everyone getting involved and excited about their team.
Second possession for the Steelers of the half. They started the first time at their own 10, and now from their own 12. Archer, the lone setback, takes the pitch from Roethlisberger, getting to the outside. Tackle from the back by Roy Miller. 60-year defensive tackle, second season here with Jacksonville. This is among the best defensive lines in the NFL. Mike Tomlin marveled when we spoke to him on Friday about the number of sacks that they've had, considering the fact, Solomon, that they've had to play from behind so much.
And Mike Tomlin called it the best unit on their entire football team. It's the best area and a well-respected defensive front. It's how Gus Bradley has chosen to build this football team. You get the sense that if they get the back end fixed, well, they could have themselves a top-notch defense here in Jacksonville.
Roethlisberger, play action, 2nd and 9, looking, going through his progressions, completes. That's Bell. Getting to the 20. Short of the first down, a pass play of 6. Back to New York and an update, JB and Boomer.
A nail-biter in Carolina.
Well, with the first possession of the second half, Carolina marches it all the way down, hands it off to Chris Obenaya. He goes in for a 1-yard touchdown plunge. Panthers tie it up in the third quarter, 21-21.
Spiro Leaders and Solomon Wilcox.
Chris Obenaya had been cut by the Cleveland Browns and found himself a home in Carolina, JB.
Third and 2. Roethlisberger's going to take a shot. Brown, leap and catch. Masterfully done. First down, pass play for 30.
He's working against Will Blackman, and we told you at the top of the show, this is one of the top wide receivers in the National Football League. He can do this. Get vertical, fight for the football for his quarterback, and come down with it against one of the really good cornerbacks. Look at that, thrown to and targeted 11 times, 4 completions. You can tell he's just getting started.
Here's Bell, 1st and 10, inside Jacksonville territory to the 45-yard line. Such a dangerous mix of run and pass. Ziggy Hood, the former Steeler, with his first tackle of the day.
Now, can't you see just Ben? He knows when he wants to play, he's going to Antonio Brown. No matter how much Gus Bradley defensive backs may be covering him with 1 or 2 defenders, they're still going to give him a chance to make a play.
Bell today, 10 rushes, 64 yards, 6.4 yards per rush. 2nd and 5, Roethlisberger pump fake it, and a professional football collision on that play. Josh Evans sending Justin Brown to the turf. What a job by Brown to hold it for a 10-yard pickup.
What a job by the offensive line to protect him for this long. He could have had a meal standing back there. Look at all the pump fakes. But when you pump fake it so many times, it leaves the defender close to the receiver for, as you said, that kind of collision. And that kind of pump fake, it draws defenders like flies.
Doesn't look like the Steelers will get a playoff as we reach the end of the third. 1-point game will return to Jacksonville after this on CBS. 1-point game, Steelers in front as we start the fourth quarter. Spiro Dina, Solomon Wilcox, 70,000 plus in Jacksonville, week 5. Jaguars looking for their first win since last December the 5th. They've lost 7 straight. Steelers, meantime, trying to avoid losing to a winless team for the second straight week. 1st and 10, Pittsburgh threatening from the Jaguars 34. Roethlisberger completes inside the 30. That's Justin Brown again. Second catch of the drive. They pick up 8 yards.
Jacksonville feels like they're just at Ben Roethlisberger's mercy. When he goes into no huddle, he spreads the ball around. He's already completed passes to 11 different receivers. So right now he's really operating at a high level. Changing the play at the line of scrimmage, seeing something that he likes.
This is Blunt cutting back. So shifty at 250 pounds. Such a change of pace, having to deal with a guy with that kind of agility and quickness, Solomon, in that frame.
Did you see him change his course of direction? He cut on a dime. He started to go one way and cut it all the way back to the right side. The defense had it stopped initially where the ball was intended to go, but Blunt was able to run to daylight and pick up a first down.
8th play of the drive for the Steelers. 1st and 10 from the 20. Jaguars coming, it's complete. Over the middle to Brown again. 7 catches entering the day, that time for 6. Good pickup on 1st down to set up a 2nd and short.
And I think Brown, he has 3 catches on this drive. He's been a very valuable asset on this particular possession.
11 different players have caught a pass. Ties an NFL season high. What a performance by Roethlisberger, spreading the rock. Roethlisberger pump faked initially, finds Bell. Dragged down by Posluszny. Guy who's been in the league 8 years, has never played for a winning team. He'll turn 30 this week.
Can't tell you enough about the good job this defense for Jacksonville has done today, particularly down inside the red zone. They're getting pressure on Ben, forcing them to throw it very quickly. Now this is where Heath Miller has been very good over the middle of the field down inside the red zone if they can isolate him against the linebacker.
Miller lines up in the slot. Bottom of your screen. 3rd and 3. Pocket collapses. Roethlisberger fumbles the football. Jacksonville has recovered. Andre Branch, the 3rd-year defensive end, falling on the football. Massive mistake by Roethlisberger.
The pressure was immense. Thus Bradley's defense responds as they're able to get to Ben Roethlisberger, get the ball on the ground. Great red zone defense in Jacksonville.
3rd sack of the day for the Jacksonville defense. It was Avery Jones who jarred loose.
Yeah, it was good pressure, and it was a complete rush by that front 4. Collapsed the pocket around Ben Roethlisberger.
First Pittsburgh turnover, and as you saw, 2nd sack for Jones. Gus Bradley was hoping for something from his defense. You wonder if that is the turning point of the game. But again, at some point, Jacksonville's going to have to generate some more points.
There it is. That's going to be Aubrey Jones right there. He'll get the sack. As you can see, pocket collapse, ball comes out. And then watch Branch 90 peel back to come away with the football. Huge stop. But you can see all 4 guys were getting depth into that backfield, providing pressure as they collapsed around Big Ben.
Easy. Hey, let's go Ram. Green shot.
Bortles intercepted, and it's going to be a pick 6. Bryce McCain, the backup quarterback. Bortles throwing it right to him, and the Steelers, after the turnover, able to get it back and build on their lead.
Now this is Dick LeBeau's defense at its best. They finally got to the rookie. They showed the overload right, and you heard Blake Bortles call Ram, which means right. So watch him sit on it. Bryce McCain, he sits on this route. Bam! They were expecting the hot route because they were sending the blitz package Whenever you blitz a quarterback and you can't block them all, you expect the ball to come out, three-step drop, and Bryce McCain was sitting right there waiting for it.
First interception as a Steeler for McCain, 23 yards on the return as Bortles throws his second interception. 17-9, Steelers giving themselves some breathing room, and the look from high above Everbank Field. Timeout. Well, this marks the 6th year of the NFL's A Crucial Catch campaign, which supports the American Cancer Society. Here is some great video from halftime where SOCOM Special Operations Command parachute team jumped into the stadium with pink ribbons and pink smog. Annual screenings save lives. Help finish the fight against breast cancer by visiting NFL.com/pink. Help celebrate the NFL and American Cancer Society's first ever A Crucial Catch Day on October the 25th. We all have our pink ribbons today. A lot of pink cleats and gloves and towels amongst the players from both sides to help in this wonderful cause.
It's a tremendous family and about the National Football League supporting a cause like breast cancer and bringing greater awareness to help fight the dreaded disease.
8-point game. Jaguars a touchdown and a 2-point conversion away from tying. But how does Bortles react after he just threw that pick six?
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Aflac, official partner of the Heisman Trophy. Walmart. Save money, live better. And by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
Well, another Sunday in the NFL for the old warhorse, Dick LeBeau, the legendary coordinator, 13 years, and doing what he can to confuse the rookie quarterback Blake Bortles, who just threw that pick six. 1st and 10, Bortles back onto the field, down 8. Plenty of time left with all 3 timeouts. Bortles rolls out for a moment, completes. First down pickup and more. That's Will Taufoo, the third-year fullback out of Cal. 12 yards and a first down. Solid. We go back to the pick.
Yeah, it's going to be Bryce McCain. And look, they're going to bring the blitz from the same side. Coming off that corner. He'll follow the slot receiver to the outside, but 3-step drop. See, he's eyes inside, and that's why he jumps the route. He's able to get the interception because he was looking inside. He knew they couldn't go deep. They had to do something quickly with the pressure pouring in on the quarterback.
First down, they keep it on the ground. This is the rookie runner, Storm Johnson, making his NFL debut today. Inactive the first 3 weeks. There's Jed Fish, who spent some time as an offensive assistant in Baltimore, faced Dick LeBeau Solomon 9 times in his 4 years with the Ravens, so he knows what LeBeau is trying to do.
It's a chess match, and he knows sooner or later the wise old coach is going to get his rookie quarterback, and you just didn't want it to be disastrous. The pick six is the worst case scenario if you're Jed Fish.
Bortles on 2nd and 8, throws near side, batted down and incomplete. Those Pittsburgh corners having their way at the moment. William Gay, 2nd straight start.
William Gay, watch him sit on it. Yeah, he'll just sit on it, and then you drive and gets the hand in. See, and Bortles is working with less experienced receivers. Remember, both receivers are rookies, and so you round off that route. It allows William Gay to cut underneath and knock down the pass from Blake Bortles.
Jordan Todman, the lone setback on 3rd and 8. Hearns in motion. Bortles completes. Needed to get to the 41-yard line. It is Hearns. Short by about a yard. 7 yards. Solly, any thought? Doesn't look like it. The punt team will come back on with plenty of time and all 3 timeouts.
Too soon for that. If you're Jacksonville, you're playing good defensively. Now you do have to come up with a stop. But with 10 minutes to go, no sense in trying to go for the first down here. It is just inches, though. But I think you go in, punt it, and let your defense try to come away with a stop.
Anger on to punt. Busy day. Antonio Brown will play it from his own 12. Just kind of scoots forward, picks up 5 on the return after the 47-yard punt from Anger. 8-point lead for the Steelers on CBS. Thursday, your football week starts here with the Colts and the Texans. Another big-time matchup in prime time. Thursday night football on CBS and NFL Network. Spiro Dedes, Solomon Wilcots, our entire CBS crew from Everbank Field in Pittsburgh. 9:28 left in the fourth in Jacksonville. Beg your pardon, Pittsburgh with the football. It certainly feels like we're in Pittsburgh with all these fans in the stands today. Roethlisberger lunges forward, gets ahead to the 18-yard line, brought down by Chris Clemens. As this place littered with Steelers jerseys. Solid, there's no fan base that travels as well as the Steelers do, is there?
Well represented in all 50 states.
8-point lead as we move on to 9 minutes left in the fourth. 2nd and 10. Roethlisberger under center. This is Le'Veon Bell, that patient running style that Solomon mentioned earlier. At that time, that defensive front holds against Mike Tomlin.
And they're trying to get the run game going. I think that's the way you do it. You want to eat clock if you're Mike Tomlin, and you've got the kind of runners that can do it. We all want good running backs in the National Football League if you're a coach of a team, but you certainly want them in the fourth quarter at moments like this to close out ball games. Now on 3rd and 9, look for Ben to try to make a play. Even with the bubble screen to his talented receiver Antonio Brown, it's essential to a run play.
Roethlisberger fakes the drive and finds Bell out of the backfield. First down and more. 12 yards through the air. Initially faked the give to Bell, who scooted out for the catch.
Yeah, and take a look at him, and he's just going to sneak right through here. And once he's there, he's wide open. Look at him. He'll come through there, and look how wide open he is. That's just a race to the first down marker right there, and he's fast enough to get that done. So it's a really good fake. That draws the linebackers up to the line of scrimmage just a little bit, creating an opening for Le'Veon Bell.
Fourth reception for Bell for 28 yards. Solomon, there's really nothing that this young man can't do. He can run it, can catch it. We talked about the pass blocking earlier. Young kid, still just 22 years of age in his 2nd year out of Michigan State.
But you know what? He understands how to run in certain situations. You saw there, he didn't try to throw any moves. He knew where the first down marker was. He went vertical up the field. It was a race to that first down marker, and he was able to get there because of his awareness of the situation.
Steelers trying to make this a 2-score game here. Field goal would do them wonders at this point as we now move under 7 minutes left. Jacksonville with all 3 timeouts to go, and a huge play here for the Jacksonville defense on 3rd and short as they try to get off the field.
Yeah, and see, they're eating clock, and that's really the key. And Jacksonville's got to be able to get off the field. They had that 3rd and 9. Le'Veon Bell was able to convert. Now they face the 3rd and 1. But guess who comes in the game? LeGarrette Blount. You know he's going to get it. And boy, you better be ready to tackle because he is a load, and he can make you miss in that small space right in the hole.
3rd and short. It's the fullback Johnson needed to get to the 41. This will depend on the spot. No signal yet from the officials. And this one looks to be awfully close.
Johnson's a big load at fullback, but we saw him catch a pass out in space earlier. He's a nifty fullback who can move really well. But in moments like this, let's see if he can convert on 3rd and 1. It's going to be close.
And they do signal 4th down.
Wow. Couldn't get it. I think you have to punt. Because if you don't make it, you give Jacksonville the ball right on your 40-yard line. Are you kidding me? You're nursing an 8-point lead. That's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
Keep in mind what happened late last Sunday. Brad Wing, that shank punt under 30 yards, gave the Bucs a short field. Different scenario here with an 8-point lead. So that one's still fresh in the minds of Steelers fans. Looks like a challenge flag has been thrown out, so they want to take another look at the spot.
Pittsburgh has challenged that the runner reach the line to gain.
Let's take a look at it and see how close are they. Maybe Tomlin saw something we didn't see. And let's see, when we come back, we'll find out. It's a game of inches. Plays like this determine the outcome of games.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Subway Restaurants. Get to Subway for the Meatball Marinara, the $5 footlong of October.
Steelers challenging that last ruling that their fullback Will Johnson was short of the first down. And Solomon, this is about as close as it gets. They need conclusive evidence to overturn. I'm not sure they had it.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Pittsburgh is charged with their first time out. It will be fourth down.
Oh, they need to get to that, 41-yard line. Take a look overhead. The blimp coverage gives us a good feel. Now, look at number 46 is the number to take a look at. Did he get to the 41? Can you tell? He certainly passed the 40, Spiro. But from that shot, I'm not so sure it's conclusive.
That's impressive.
Conclusive video evidence. That was good, though.
Again, Steelers punt team goes to the shifting pre-snap formation. Brad Wayne, the kicker. And this is a thing of beauty. Inside the 10, a fumble by Sanders, falls on it. Somehow he's going to get some positive yardage out of the play. What a punt by Wayne. 52 yards and a 10-yard return. How about this situation for Bortles? Down 8 when we come back. A couple of key sequence plays in the second half. The turnover by Ben Roethlisberger, giving the football back to Bortles.
Yeah, they're going in for points here, Spiro, but the red zone defense from Jacksonville gets the ball back. They get a stop right there, but then come right back. Interception, touchdown. 7 points on the board for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Ben knows they squandered some points. The defense bailed them out in that case, and now he's going to need the defense to bail them out again and preserve the 8-point lead. Remember, Jacksonville, 5:28 left in the game. They go down and get a touchdown. We'll probably see them line up for a 2-point conversion to try to get a tie.
Well, Roethlisberger told us on Friday he sees a lot of his young self in Blake Bortles, the young man taken 3rd overall in the NFL draft. Bortles making his first home start today. Central Florida product. And a chance here with 5:28 left. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion with all 3 timeouts. Storm Johnson, a rookie running back, interestingly on the field in the biggest moment of the day for Jacksonville. That ball completed. Allen Hurns, good pickup on first down and 6 yards through the air. Tackle made by Cortez Allen.
Good, secure catch from Allen Hurns. Now, you talk about driving the length of the football field, going maybe somewhat 75 yards, 5 minutes. You got plenty of time to work your game.
Down. Green Eddie. Green is up.
Harbor, the tight end in motion. 2nd and 4. Johnson trying to get to the edge. Can't. Excellent defensive push up front by the Steelers, led by Troy Polamalu. Back to New York in an update. JB and Boomer.
Arian Foster's mom said, suck it up and play, Arian.
How about this? Arian Foster, after a 4-play, 45-yard drive, 1 yard in, they tie the score. Arian, 21 carries, 127 yards, and 2 TDs on the day.
Nothing like your mother getting in your case. Andrew, Steve, and Steve.
Battle of Texas, and a good one coming down the stretch. 3rd and 5. Jacksonville desperate to move the chains. Bortles pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. Brett Kiesel getting his big mitt on it.
Wow, the pressure was in the face of Blake Bortles. Dick LeBeau is bringing everyone, trying to force a punt. Watch big number 99 coming off the left side, getting the hand in the face, and a hit on Blake Bortles. Just snuffing that one out like he was a power forward. Wow, steamrolling Blake Bortles on that play.
Kiesel signing in the offseason, 2-year extension. All 13 of his years in the NFL as a Pittsburgh Steeler, making an awfully big defensive play. Antonio Brown signals fair catch. Good field position, so Jacksonville really no choice but to punt there. All 3 timeouts left and just over 4 minutes remaining. Tomorrow on NCIS Los Angeles, LL Cool J and Chris O'Donnell star in a brand new episode you won't want to miss. NCIS Los Angeles, new night time tomorrow, 10/9 Central, only CBS. So Gus Bradley Solomon's going to ask his defense for one more stop. Our quarterback comparison, Bortles has held his own, but those 2 interceptions right now coming back to haunt Jacksonville.
Oh, they go 3 and out, and that was an opportunity now. They could have taken their time. They have all their timeouts. So that was a critical possession, but give Dick LeBeau and the Pittsburgh Steelers defense a lot of credit. They slammed the door shut, pitching the 3 and out to get the ball back for their offense. Now let's see if Ben could do something maybe they weren't able to do last week on their final drive, is to be able to eat clock and get out of here with a win.
Steelers trying to get to 3-2. Bell dumped down for a loss. Clock continues to run. If nothing else, Steelers want to run that clock down as much as they can. Le'Veon Bell, if you've just joined us, 15 rushes, 73 yards. It'll be 2nd and long.
See, I'd like to see him use that timeout right here. I don't know why you save him. I think you go in, you got the nice stop. Go ahead and call the timeout right there. You force Pittsburgh Steelers to have to earn a first down.
Instead, valuable seconds come off. 2nd and 11 for the Steelers. Draw play to Bell. Across the 40. First down is out at the 46-yard line. 9 yards on the ground. Tackle made by Cyprien.
Le'Veon Bell, so good. Making people miss at close proximities. Now we get a timeout from Jacksonville. Rightfully so.
Now it looks like they spotted back at around the 48-yard line. Gus Bradley and Jacksonville looking for their first win since last December the 5th.
And Pittsburgh trying to avoid losing to a winless team for the 2nd consecutive week. Something I don't know that the people in Pittsburgh and many of their fans here at today's game can abide by.
A lot of Steelers fans in the house, 70,000 plus on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in early October here in Jacksonville. 3rd and 2. Sidearm pass, Miller was wide open.
Wow. Wonderfully designed by the coordinator, Todd Haley, and the Pittsburgh Steelers fans here today at Everbank Field. They like it. And this is just a really nice play. They leave Heath Miller wide open. There he is there in the slot. Look, they had him covered. Blackman, 24, had him covered. He left to go to the other receiver in the slot, leaving Miller open.
13 yards and a Steelers first down. Jacksonville has to burn a timeout. Update time, back to New York.
Boom. Making it a game, Ravens.
A lot of touchdowns happening right now all around the NFL. JB, here comes Justin Forsett right up the middle, 11 yards. Baltimore closing the gap, 20-13, 4th quarter. Colts are on top.
All right, that's what we like. Action indeed. Spiro and Solomon.
Some real good games around the NFL today. You see the Ravens trying to continue that winning streak. 8-point lead for the Steelers. Jacksonville down to their final timeout. We come up on 3 minutes left. But Garrett Blunt, last season with the Patriots, as Gus Bradley and company will burn their final timeout. And now desperation time for this defense. Bortles hoping for one final chance. Coming up next, the NFL on CBS rolls on with doubleheader action. Chiefs and the 49ers, or some of you will see the Jets and the Chargers. Check your local listings on CBS.
The terrible towel has made its way to the pool.
I mean, they've taken this place over, haven't they?
It's kind of like our hotel today. Steeler fans everywhere.
They have infiltrated Jacksonville hoping for a road win that would get the Steelers to 3-2.
Blue 80!
Offset eye to the left. Play action to Bell on 2nd and 10. Bell out of the backfield, 5th reception inside the 40, close to another first down. Boy, did he pay the price at the end of the play. Plus Lesney and J.T. Thomas on the tackle.
Bell is so alert for a second-year guy. He doesn't go out of bounds. Even Coach Thomas said that was good heads-up play. He sneaks out of the backfield right here. Watch him make himself available to his quarterback. Right there, stays alive. He sees the first down marker. See, he's sprinting, but he won't go out of bounds to get there. He tried to go right up the field to get to it. Came up, I think his spot was just maybe an inch short.
5th straight game that Bell has gone over 100 yards of total offense. 3rd and 1 for the Steelers. Blunt has the first down, needed to get to the 38. Appeared to have it with his forward progress. And this one will be closer than originally thought. Clock continues to run as we will hit the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, they're going to measure it, but I think it's going to be good enough for a first down. Not by much.
Jacksonville needed a stop there so badly. Looks like an injured defender. Could be Lesney, I believe it is. So the trainers onto the field. We reach the 2-minute warning, 8-point game. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Looked like they were looking at Lesney's left arm. He's off the field, at least for the moment. First down and 10 for the Steelers. Jacksonville running out of time, out of timeouts. Roethlisberger, little screen, finds Brown. So dangerous after the catch. Brown running out of bounds.
But he should have stayed in bounds.
I'm sure he wants that one back.
Pick up the first down, but that's what we were talking about. Le'Veon Bell earlier did not run out of bounds, kept the clock moving. He understands it because he looked over at the sideline. The coach is like, what are you doing running out of bounds? He lined up in the backfield. Look at him make you miss in space. And now right here, after you get the first down, just stay in bounds. That's the heady play to make. Yeah, they won't have to run another play. Not at this point. Jacksonville's out of timeouts.
21st consecutive game with at least 5 receptions as the Steelers are going to get to 3-2. They'll start to run that clock down. So a week after that agonizing finish, home loss to the Tampa Bay Bucks, the Pittsburgh Steelers come to Jacksonville and hand Gus Bradley's Jaguars their 8th straight loss.
And you can tell by, the Pittsburgh Steelers fans, their fans are some of the best in the NFL. They come in against a winless team. They win 17-9. They don't care what the score is. Just get the win, and they're satisfied. You won't hear them talking about an ugly win. They know that they came in here and they were going to get Jacksonville's best shot, real good defensive front, and they're just happy to come away with the win regardless of the score.
Steelers will hit the road again next Sunday. They'll go to Cleveland in an AFC North battle. As Jacksonville, meantime, will fall to 0-5. They will be at Tennessee next weekend. Solly, so tough in this league under normal circumstances, even tougher with such a young group. As the growing pains will continue for Blake Bortles and so many of these rookie Jaguar players. Through the pick 6, 1 of 2 interceptions, and the Steelers able to capitalize as they win it 17-9. 273 yards passing and a touchdown for Roethlisberger. Completes his final 10 passes of the day to put the game on ice.
Yeah, he did a really good job of just managing the game. Did have the one red zone turnover, which he had back when he fumbled the football. Other than that, he spread the ball around to 11 different receivers. He managed the third down offense very well. And remember, this is a very good defensive front for Jacksonville. So Ben Roethlisberger carrying his team and managing the talent around him very well.
Final score 17-9. We'll send it to JB in New York when we come back. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.
All right, Spiro. So Pittsburgh improves to 3-2.